So today we are going to see about constructors. Okay. Before that, just go through with the class. This is a simple structure of a class in Java programming. So public class, class name. Here it is sample, and inside that class we are having our data members and member functions. Okay, va? So one example for data members is like our data type or variable declaration. Okay, so data type variable name. So here int roll number string name, and member functions or methods. I am having one example here as void set parameter with parameters roll number and name. Okay, so using class we can achieve two characteristics or two properties of OOPS. One is abstraction and another one is encapsulation. Okay, wow. So now constructors. So as you can see here, we are including our constructors along with the data members and member functions. Okay, wow. So it is a special method. It is a special method with a name similar to our class name. So constructor is a method. The name of the constructor should be as same as the class name. Okay, it is a special method because it has no return type like our normal methods. Okay, the constructor doesn't have any return type, and it is used to initialize our data members when the objects are created. When object will be created? When we are come up with the keyword new. Okay, then there are two types of constructor. One is default and another one is parameterized constructor. So default is nothing but whether you have defined it or not, the system automatically create one constructor with no arguments. So normally what is the structure of a method? A method name and a list of arguments. Here it is a constructor, we don't have return type, so only the method name and the list of parameters. The default constructor is nothing but we need not to define it. The system automatically create one default constructor. It contains no parameters. Okay, wow. So another one is parameterized constructor that we can create of our own with some set of parameters what we wish to pass on. Okay, so default constructor also we can write in our program if we want. Okay, wow. Otherwise, in another situation, like if you are trying to create one parameterized constructor, then it is necessary to create one default constructor there. We have to write. If you are not creating any parameterized constructor, we need not to create default constructor also. It automatically created. If you are trying to write parameterized constructor, then we must write one default constructor also. Okay, wow? Understood? Okay. So here I am creating one class student with some data members, roll number, name and department, and creating one default constructor because I am having my parameterized constructor here. So that's why I am creating default constructor also. So actually what is the purpose of the constructor? No, purpose. What is the use of the constructor? To initialize the data members. So to assign initial values to the variables. Okay, wow? So here I am having three data members, roll number, name, department. It is not necessarily all the variables to be initialized. Okay. If we are not initializing of our own, it will be assigned with the default values of the particular data type the data member belongs to. Okay, wow? So here I am assigning the roll number with the -1 and name as XYZ. Similarly, in parameterized constructor, I am passing two parameters like name and department. Using that, I am assigning that values which we are passing to the corresponding data members, and roll number I am assigning as 0. So for example I am writing here. So consider one, we are now in the phase of admission stage. New students are inquiring about various departments and all. So with that consideration I am creating this. So suppose one student is randomly called here and asking about the admissions process. So we don't know whether he will come here or not. So for such a student I am, for that those random calls I am just creating one object with a roll number -1 and some XYZ. So just we create one entry that some calls came. Okay. On the other hand, I am having one student, he is inquired very particularly about some department, he is very ready to join here. In that case, I am entering, I am saving his name, and for which department he is inquiring, I am saving all those details, but I am not assigning any roll number to him now. So I put 0. So just I am thinking about some situation, some scenario, and writing this code. Okay, wa? Any doubts? Okay. So in my main method, I am creating two objects, st1 and st2. So that day I stop here. We will see in the next class, like that I told. So how to create an object? A class name, object name equal to new. This is called constructor here. We are trying to call the constructor like our method call. Function call பண்ணுவோம்ல, like our method call I am calling the constructor. So student of. So it will call the corresponding constructor. Whether I am creating or whether I am defining the default constructor in my program or not, it will be automatically created. So this is a structure of a default constructor. Class name, one open and close bracket, because it doesn't have any parameters. Okay. So it will call this constructor and assign these values -1 to the roll number and XYZ to the name, to the object st1. Okay, wa? And then I am creating another object st2 equal to new student. I am passing some parameter Bala and BM. Okay. So it will call this constructor, this parameterized constructor. Here the Bala will be assigned to this name and BM is assigned to the department. It will be assigned to the corresponding data member of that object st2. Okay, wa? Now I am trying to print the values using some method called display details. I will show the implementation of display details in the program. So it will display all the details about st1, and again I am trying to display the details about the st2 object. Okay, wa? So I repeat. So constructor is a special method with no return type. The name should be similar to the class name. So normally the default constructor doesn't have any parameters. We need not to define it if we are not having any parameterized constructor in our program. So parameter constructor, we pass some arguments there. That we call it as parameterized constructor. So two things you need to be clear with the terms of constructor. One is it is a special method, and it has the no return type, and it is used to initialize the data members. Three things. Okay, wa? Any doubts? No doubts. So we will see it in the code. So here the same thing I am creating. Class student, I am having roll number, name, department, and the default constructor. The same code. Okay, and parameterized constructor, and display details method will try to display the roll number, name, and department of the corresponding object. Okay, so I put here this because one time it may be st1 and another time it may be st2. Okay, so in main method the same thing, I am creating two objects st1 and st2 and trying to get the values. Can you follow this code? Any doubts? No doubts. Okay, so normally I have to define this class as public because I am having my main method inside this class. Obviously I am trying to access this class, this method from outside, so I have to define it as public. Okay. So how to compile? Java C file name dot Java. So file name should be the class name which contains the main method. So it is compiled. So once compiled, we are getting our bytecode. Okay, that means class file. So I am trying to execute my class file Java student. So we get the output. So here you can see for department it is assigned with null. In my default constructor I didn't define anything about the department, but automatically it will assign with the initial value, default values for that particular data type string. So null is the default value for the type string. That's why it assign null here. Any doubts? No doubts.